my conversion process is done. And now what we want to do is we want to export this. So we hit our button over here. Alright, and we go to output, or selection rather. And hit the edit and scroll down to export. Now, it's going to give it a default name of part 1, which, you know, I honestly don't mind the naming file system that the default naming file system that Tape Machine uses. It actually uses the actual file name itself, and then, you know, just applies numbers to the file. And if you've been watching my Audacity series, that's exactly how I do my file naming system, except I put the number actually at the front of the file. So I'll just leave that for right now, and I'll go ahead and hit OK. But before I do that, you can hit this right here, and you can go specify where you want the export to go. And for me, since I'm using the Su-Preme MPA, I'm going to go to the MPA directory where I have all my samples. Okay. And I'm going to drop it right in here, so that as soon as I open up the Su-Preme MPA, it's going to be able to, you know, go ahead and have that in there. I don't, you know, I could wait and go cut and paste it in there, but this is a simpler way. You can do it right within the app. So I'll just hit OK. There I have the right directory loaded, and it says file exported. So now that file should be there. Okay, so, you know, while we're here, we'll go ahead and chop this up about 2 or 3 more times. So let me go ahead. Part we can cut right here.
Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be?
And we'll put part 2 here.
Who are you? Who am I? Be powerful. Fear.
We are powerful beyond measure.
Okay, so we've exported that into 4 different parts. Now that we have, you know, we've got all our sounds the way that we want it, now we can go into the Su-Preme MPA and actually use them. So let's go ahead and try that.
Fear not.
So we'll go ahead and set up a new project in the Su-Preme MPA here. we'll just call it new.
We are powerful. P-R-U.
And first thing we want to do is go ahead and make sure our sounds are actually in here, which they should be because we put it in the directory where they need to be. And there's all 4 of our sounds. So let's see if okay, so they are there. We're going to use those. Uh-oh. And I bet you're wondering why the first one has an X. One thing I've learned about the Su-Preme MPA from using it, and I am using WAV files, which are a larger size than an MP3. Typically, if the sound is over like 1.5 megabytes, you may have an issue loading it. The Su-Preme MPA can only handle certain file sizes, at least from my experience in using the machine. So that's why you got an X there on that first one. That sample is a pretty long sample. That's the first chop I did, which, you know, all the subsequent chops are basically based off of that first one. So that's the only reason why that first one does not work. And remember, the engine that the MPA uses is your actual you know, default player on your device. That's what it uses for playback when you're demoing a song in the sample bank, the sample library. So we're not going to worry about that, but for demonstration purposes, just understand that if you have too big of a file, too big of a sample, and it doesn't load, then that's why. And you may want to go back and convert it to an MP3, you know, or chop it up so it's smaller, you know, whatever you got to do to get it in there. But for demonstration purposes, we're just going to keep it moving. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and assign these. And while we're at it, you know, we'll go ahead and grab a kick and a snare. So back to our library here. So we'll go ahead and assign these. Okay, so we have all that stuff assigned. And there's our samples. All in our MPA ready to go. Now I'm going to try to do a little something here. I don't know how it's going to work out. I'm doing this stuff kind of on the fly, so let's see. First thing I'm probably going to want to do is cut those samples off, make them cut off with each pad. And the way you do that in the Su-Preme MPA is you just go to the actual sample, hit edit, and once you get to this section, what you want to do is go select and go to cut off here, and I normally assign to 1. Go back, do the same thing with the other samples in here, and then they should cut off when you touch the other. Now they're cutting off. Okay, so now that we have that set up, we can try a little something here.